Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that by far, one of the mysterious aspects of the Star Wars sequel trilogy has all to do with Rey's lineage, her parents, and exactly where she comes from in these movies. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. And that is one thing to truly look forward to actually seeing in Star Wars Episode 9 by JJ, is that he will be changing many different elements of Rey's lineage in this movie, as well as answering a lot of the burning questions from The Force Awakens in Star Wars Episode 9 that revolve all around the character of Rey in this film. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this movie when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with the character of Rey and Rey's mother's identity in Star Wars Episode 9. Specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this, a description of a young Rey hugging a woman in a white dress inside of a tent with a fire in between them. The woman in the white dress is said to be Rey's mother in the form of a flashback and has the same exact hairstyle as Rey. It's described that an older Rey can be seen watching over a moment of the past between her younger self and her own mother. The sequence is described as Melinza Sella reunites with Rey. It's described to be a moment in the past where a young Rey sees her mother for the first time in a long time, where her mother delivers important dialogue to Rey as a character that Rey carries on with the rest of her life. Another sequence describes Melinza Sella handing Rey some kind of ancient compass that appears to be similar to the one that Luke Skywalker discovered on the planet Pileo in the campaign of Battlefront 2. So I want to go over a couple of parts about all of this. Now, we heard about this character's name a couple of weeks ago, about her first name being Melinza, where now the last name of this character is, of course, Sella, S-E-L-L-A-H. Now, that's a different last name than Rey's father, which we went over a couple of days ago, and by the way, that leads me to believe that Rey's mother and father could very well just be her step-parents. That's a big possibility in Star Wars Episode 9, is that Rey's mother and father, quote-unquote, are actually going to be her step-parents in Star Wars Episode 9 by JJ. Now, looking at this scene in particular, what's really interesting about all of this is that we do know that JJ will be exploring elements of Rey's childhood in this movie, which leads me to believe that the desert world that's coming into play here for the story of Episode 9 is in fact going to be the planet of Jakku returning in Episode 9. So that's one thing to look forward to, is that they are indeed going to explore Rey's past and different elements of Rey's parents and exactly who they were connected to. We do know that Rey's mother and father are connected to the Church of the Force, Lor San Tekka, and even Luke Skywalker to a certain extent. So what I find very, visually stunning about this sequence, I'm just trying to imagine it in my head right now, where it's described that an older version of Rey, right, Rey in present time, is actually watching her younger self, talking to her mother, which is a moment in the past. So basically, Rey is actually witnessing a vision of some kind of a younger version of herself on this desert world inside of a tent where they have a little campfire going in between the two. So this woman in the white dress is also said to have the same exact hairstyle as Rey in Episode 9. So that also leads me to believe that this character is also going to be based on the planet of Jakku, Melinza Sella. So Melinza Sella, I don't really know if there's an actual meaning to that name or anything around those lines, but I will say this, is that the name in and on itself does sound very Star Wars-y. It sounds something like, what a female Star Wars character would be called in a film, especially by J.J. Abrams. So Melinza Sella, I gotta say, I'm not quite sure if that's based on a Legends name or anything around those lines, but the one thing that I'm very excited about seeing in this movie is exactly how J.J. Abrams is going to utilize Rey's parents in the film and how significant they really will be in the storytelling of this movie. So we do know that J.J. Abrams, he actually changed quite a number of different pieces of Rey's character in the actual script of Episode 9 while he was filming this movie, in the second and third acts of the film during principal photography. I don't know if you guys heard about this a couple months ago, but some some script changes were made as they were going through the actual principal photography process, which is filming. So during that whole entire time period, JJ did in fact make some changes for the character of Rey and exactly where she will be going in this movie. And I gotta say, I think that's one of the biggest mysteries of all in the Star Wars sequel trilogy, that a lot of fans are just waiting to be unveiled in Episode 9 by Chris Terrio and JJ, in the white dress that is actually said to be Rey's mother, dubbed as Melinza Sella, is actually a part of the Church of the Force and was once even the leader of the Church of the Force, and even had interactions with the character of Luke Skywalker, as we went over a couple of weeks ago. So what I find very intriguing about Episode 9 is that, the character of Rey will be expanded in this story, and we do know that the novelization of Episode 9 will also have more revelations in that book that's going to actually extend certain sequences in the movie that cannot be fit into the actual, film itself on screen. So look forward to the novelization of Episode 9. That probably won't drop until early 2020, so keep an eye out for that. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.